Be our guest. Well, everyone here is welcome. Welcome to our Sunday gathering number 179. I am joined here today by my beautiful friends Elaine and Shirley Ann. Darren is having some family time, and Carrie and Phil are with several members of our community in Canada, just close to Toronto. So it's us three musketeers with you today. Yes, we started with some Disney music, and yes, I have Disney background behind me. As a little girl, oh, Disney songs, Disney films, Disneyland, Disney World were some of my happiest places, happiest memories. And as a kid, I didn't want to grow up. I didn't, because I knew life was going to be tough. And guess what happened? I grew up and life is tough. In fact, it gets so difficult sometimes that we are just hoping that something will come along and raise our spirits. And so today we're talking about the power of positivity. And Disney music for me represents that positivity. And of course, you see the park behind me. But there have been some really, really tough times in my life, as I know there have been in yours, and with Shirley Ann and Elaine too. So today really is about picking ourselves up, about adding in that positivity, perhaps some different ways we can do that. And of course, there will be some Disney music as well. And I've got a special treat at the end, so please be sure you stay to the end. Shirley Ann will be doing our prayers today, our words for the week, and our demonstration of mediumship. Elaine is kind enough to do our address today. I will be doing the reading and the healing and some announcements and the behind the scenes choreography. So that's how it's going to go. We're here together for approximately 90 minutes-ish, give or take, and be our guest. We are so grateful you're here wherever in the world you are, whether you're here for the first time or you've been with us for our entire journey or somewhere in between. We are so grateful. We couldn't do it without you. We wouldn't want to either. So let me turn it over to Shirley Ann for our opening prayer.
Good morning, everyone. Can we just join together for a moment in that peaceful silence? Divine and loving Spirit, as we come together this morning from different time zones, from different countries, from different cultures, allow us to link hand in hand and draw our two worlds together in peace and harmony and love. Allow us to open our hearts and allow them to flutter in the beautiful memories of our loved ones. And as that song just said, they are all in our hearts forevermore. Allow them, even if it's just for this hour, to come alive with you, right beside you. Allow them to hold your hand and just take you through these moments together as we have this wonderful theme of positivity. Join together to heal hearts in both our worlds, whether they be human or whether they be pet. Let's join together the two worlds in peace and harmony and love. Amen.
Thank you very much, Shirley Ann. Life is tough, and I'm sure we can all agree that in our toughest times, we've learned the most about ourselves. We've been forced to grow, and the knowledge has been something that we've gained, and we've been able to pass it on to others. But going through those times can be scary, and we look for ways to keep up our spirits. Personally, I was in a very dark place when COVID hit, as many of you know. In addition to, the world being uncertain, I lost my income and I lost my 30 plus year catering business. All the grief that I had ever felt in the past seemed to be reignited. And I know you probably felt that too. In my darkest despair, I actually purchased the Disney Channel and forced myself to watch Disney films. I didn't want to, but I forced myself to because I knew that the characters all overcome something. And of course, there's beautiful music and scenery as well. And I have a playlist of Disney songs that I play often. The tunes, the lyrics, and the stories make all the difference to me. And sometimes I play them even not thinking that I need any tunes, but it gets my day started off right. There's some power in those lyrics. So I'd like to read to you some of the most empowering words from Disney songs. This one's from The Lion King. He lives in you. It's an excellent song to inspire you to lean on the people who live in you and stand behind you. Or you can also think about the force within us that helps guide us through the darkest challenges. Here are some words from that song. Wait, there's no mountain too great. Hear these words and have faith. Have faith. From Hercules. When you make a change in your life, it isn't easy to feel like it's easy, let me say that again, to feel like you don't belong at first or that you're still searching for something. The song from Hercules, Go the Distance, is the perfect song that we can belt out in the shower or in the car and remind ourselves that we have whatever it takes. So here's just a few of the lyrics. I am on my way. I can go the distance. I don't care how far. Somehow I'll be strong. I know every mile will be worth my while. Anything can happen from Mary Poppins as long as we open ourselves up to it. When we're on the verge of making a big change in life, it's important to remember how many opportunities are available to us and how limitless these possibilities are. So Mary Poppins sings, anything can happen if you let it. Life is out there waiting, so go and get it. Grab it by the collar, seize it by the scruff. Once you've started living life, you just can't get enough. And Quasimodo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. There's a song called Out There. The lyric, and out there, living in the sun, give me one day out there. All I ask is for one to hold forever. Out there, where they all live unaware, what I'd give, what I'd dare to live just one day out there. From The Lady and the Tramp. Remember that? The song is Always There. And we do have people, they may be invisible to us, that are always there for us. Always there to catch you when you're falling. Always there to stand you up again with endless love to share. Love that will follow you everywhere. The song, How Far I'll Go, from Moana. It fully encompasses the idea of adventure, of not knowing what lies in store and the excitement to meet that challenge anyway. The inspiring lyric, if the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, one day I'll know if I go, there's just no telling how far I'll go. And from Zootopia, try everything. Serves as character Judy Hopps' soundtrack while she watches everything she has known change right before her eyes. The inspiring lyric, I won't give up, no, I won't give in till I reach the end, and then I'll start again. I want to try everything. I want to try, even though I could fail. And last, Let It Go from Frozen. We may not be able to create a nice palace, but if we listen to the words of Let It Go, we might just gain the courage to do what once before we thought was impossible. Here's some lyrics. It's time to see what I can do, to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. There are many others, and if you feel like adding your favorite Disney films or Disney songs in the chat box, please do. But, I think of Zippity-Doo-Dah, When You Wish Upon a Star, The Circle of Life, You'll Be in My Heart, A Friend Like Me. So perhaps We could invoke our inner Tinkerbell, sprinkle a little fairy dust. And when times get tough, or we just need to start off our day on the right side of the bed, just add a little bit of Disney music. How's that for a challenge? We're going to go into the healing now, and I've combined two songs. The first song is not Disney, but it is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And the background you'll see is from the movie Moana. And the second song is from the movie Moana, and it's that scene where her grandmother, who is long gone, appears to her and gives her the message, remember who you are. The first song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, really just touches me right now. In America, and our friends in Hawaii are suffering some incredible devastation. And I know there are other people around the world who are also suffering. So in my heart, they're there. Tomorrow is also the birthday of my dad and my grandmother. Grammy had dad on her 18th birthday, crazy as that may seem. And so it's a special day in our family, but I know what this is like. Just a little bit of grief, a little bit of sadness can tend to ignite all past memories. So for anyone who's grieving right now, or even if you're not, I'm sending healing to you, to our community. And I ask that as you listen to the words of the song and watch the video, just however in your own way, have that silent prayer that life gets better and people get healthier. All right. So let me find the music. And these are beautiful songs, as you know. And then who will be on next is our beautiful Elaine with our address.
Well, hello. Thank you so much, Sandra. I'm really pleased to be here with you and Shirley Ann today, although I must admit that I wasn't so sure at first I was going to do this. A while back, I opened up an email from Phil and Carrie and Sandra, and I'm always so happy to hear from them. To my surprise, they invited me to speak at a future Sunday gathering. Well, my first reaction was to feel so complimented that they had confidence in me. They believed I could do this and that I might have something worthwhile to say. But my next reaction was to immediately write back and say, thanks, but no way. I had no confidence that I could possibly do this. Something stopped me from writing that response. Something told me that I've been in other situations that I thought were too difficult to handle, but I have managed. So I began talking myself into it and thinking about what I could say. One of those really hard things has been managing grief. So I thought maybe I could talk about that. There are a few givens about grief. No one is immune to it. At some point, everyone experiences some type of grief. We grieve when we lose anything or anyone important to us. Each individual will handle grief in his own way. You can't compare anyone's way to another. A child may lose a toy, and that may seem trivial, but loss is loss, and to that child, it's not trivial. Some kinds of grief can actually be resolved. For example, if you lose a job, it could seem devastating at first. You don't know what your future holds, but it is possible that that job can be replaced, and it could even be something better. There's one kind of grief that I've really not heard spoken of so much, and it's the loss of self to the depressed or angry or whatever other feelings you may be left with after a loss. When you feel changed and that you don't know how to retrieve your joy. When you grieve due to an irreplaceable loss, it's not something that goes away. It does not get cured, but it can be managed. And if you allow it, it's even possible to have it lead to personal growth. Most of us have heard or read much about grief, and I don't expect I'll be teaching you anything new, but I would like to share some of my personal journey. So in this talk, I will focus on the grief I feel from the loss of loved ones. I acknowledge my feelings. Sometimes I even allow myself to wallow in the feelings of despair and loss, full out sobbing and feeling sorry for myself. But I only allow myself to do that for a limited amount of time. After that, I may spend a little time thinking about what I'm grateful for or what positive things I have learned, even from difficult situations. Now, one may think there can be nothing positive that comes from a devastating loss of a loved one, but among many other things, I witnessed such an outpouring of love and kindness from so many people, in many cases, people who I hardly knew. It made me want to be a better person and be more helpful to others. I express my feelings. I do that by either talking with others who are supportive listeners or who have had similar experiences. Actually, sharing my feelings here with you today, although kind of scary, is also very satisfying because I know that among you there are those who may possibly find meaning and comfort in my words. People who spend any time with me will know that I'm usually either humming, whistling, or singing. And many times people will say, "Oh, you're singing, you must be happy." And I may just nod, but I know that all music is not happy. For me, it is soulful. And sometimes singing may be a way of crying to myself. Sometimes I just even make up tunes to hum, and I feel a vibration in my body that can feel healing. I will say, however, that I do have a go to happy song that I've loved since I was a little girl. Sandra mentioned it today. When I was feeling full of joy, I would be fine skipping, smiling, and singing zippity doo dah, zippity a, my oh my, what a wonderful day. And I still look forward to those zippity doo dah moments whenever I could create them. Incidentally, for trivia lovers, I discovered that Zippity Doo Dah won an Oscar for the best song, happened to be the year I was born. And I'll just leave that to you if you're interested in knowing what that date is. Another important way I express my feelings is through writing. Others may have different outlets that they find work for them. Helping others who are feeling troubled is not only satisfying, but it also puts your own misery into a better perspective. I compartmentalize my sadness. That is, I sort of put it away for another time and think about many things that I enjoy doing. I choose to distract myself from the grief by spending my time entertaining myself with books, puzzles, games, exercising, not enough, creating art, or socializing with friends. And I'm fortunate to have family around to spend time with. And I especially relish spending time with my grandchildren, who I mentioned to Sandra earlier that I had the pleasure of taking to Disney World just this summer. I recognize that if grief is over the loss of a loved one, that our loved ones only want us to live our lives happily. Think about how you feel with the people you love. When they're troubled, you feel their pain, and their happiness brings you joy. I know that this is what our loved ones also feel when they're no longer here physically. And because of this, I believe it's my responsibility to find my joy whenever possible. I've chosen the route of taking psychic and mediumship classes with Phil and Carrie. And I also spend a lot of time listening to many of the We Don't Die interviews that Sandra shares so beautifully, and as well as her Shades of Afterlife. These activities really help me to feel a part of the world that too many of my loved ones now inhabit. These are just some of the ways I try to manage my grief. And I'm sure that each of you have other ideas or experiences that have helped you. I already mentioned that one of the outlets I have for expressing my feelings is through writing. So, if you will indulge me just a little longer, I would like to share a few of the things that I have written that have given me relief in the form of expression. Some of my writing is what is called inspired writing. That is, when I pose a question or a thought, and then I just set my mind aside and let my soul write the response. I recently asked myself, what is grief? These words came pouring out. What is grief? Grief is a hole, a chasm, a dark and endless pit. It can swallow you whole if you let it. It is a place you go to all alone. Others can travel part of the way with you, but they never know the depth of the pain and loneliness you sometimes sink to. They may know their own grief, but they do not know mine. Sometimes you just don't even want to come out of it. You want to feel your misery because the loss is so great, it is beyond comprehension. There is rage. There is absolute despair. There is the polar opposite of joy and elation. There is nothing. Sometimes you want to have someone in there with you because it's just too unbelievably painful to bear. You want someone to hold you, to protect you, but mostly to understand, to feel what you are feeling so you are not so alone in this abyss. Have I cried enough? Complained enough? Yelled, shouted, screamed enough? Kicked and punched enough? No, never. But for now, I will put it back in its box. I will find something else to do that takes me back to life, that reminds me that life can be worth living, that allows me to smile and laugh sometimes until it needs to come out again. In this next writing, I'm thinking about how no matter how old we become, we still have that vulnerable child inside who wants to be loved and protected. It also implies that we may see others as very strong and capable, but we don't always see their pain. These words came from that thought. I stand in front of my mirror. I see my face with lines and too much texture. I look at all the spots on my arms and see the extra loose and wrinkled skin. I look like the women I knew to be mothers and grandmothers, who I believed to be strong and protective. The ones who worked hard taking care of their families and so many responsibilities. The ones who had many of their own struggles to overcome that I never really knew about. And I wonder why I, who now look like them, feel still like a hurting child inside, who wants to cuddle up in the protective arms of a parent, a grandparent, or a husband. The next writings I will share were done within the year after my husband passed. They are reflections on what was once normal and acknowledgments of my feelings as I had to adjust to the change. Perhaps some of you will relate to these kinds of feelings. When I'm filled with strong emotions, the words come quickly. Remembering things we loved to do together, and then my world changed. The movies. We loved going to the movies. Sometimes it would be his choice, an action-packed thriller. Sometimes mine, love stories with happy endings. Almost as important and sometimes more important than the movie choice was getting the popcorn and the soda. A large popcorn and a large diet caffeine-free soda to share. He was too embarrassed to ask for them to make the popcorn without salt the way I liked it. So that was my job. Excuse me, could you please make a batch of popcorn without salt? Said the new kid behind the counter. I don't think we can do that here. Yes, you can, I say self-assuredly. You always do. And then they make it. I'll get the large one and then the refill at the same time, please, so I don't have to ask you to pop it this way again. It will be about 10 or 15 minutes, they say, as though I don't know anything. I will wait here, I say calmly. But in a whispering aside, I say, and it will only take you 3 minutes. It's different now. The first time I went to the movies with friends, I was the third person. I don't even remember what I saw, but I do remember going to the concession stand. What do I do now? I wasn't so self-assured. I couldn't eat a large bag of popcorn. I couldn't drink a whole large soda by myself. If I wasn't ordering a large popcorn, did I have the right to ask them to make a whole batch of popcorn without salt just for me? I tasted one of the stray pieces of popcorn to see if I could bear the salt. It was okay, but I almost choked as I gave my order. I don't even remember the movie, but if it was a love story, for me it did not have a happy ending that day. Did the kid behind the counter wonder why tears were streaming down my face? One small popcorn and a small soda, please. Go Cards! He loved baseball. He would just watch it on TV without the sound because his own play-by-play was be as good as, if not better than the announcers. I loved watching him watch the game and get so involved. When he did have the sound on, I would often hear the color commentator call a play or use the exact same expression that Ron had just said. Ron knew he couldn't play the game anymore, but in his mind, he knew just what each player should be thinking and how he should be moving. When we went to the games, we had great seats and delighted in inviting others when we could to join us. By the third inning, we were settled in with our peanuts, hot dogs, and soda. He was really into the game. I was really into him. If I didn't understand what was happening, he was always there to patiently explain. He was in his element. He was happy, and that made me happy. We had some tickets left to use, great seats, but he was no longer there to go. I want to go, but how can I go without him? It's not the same. I asked my kids to go with me, but everything was different. I tried to smile and cheer at appropriate times, but nothing was right. Even when we scored, I couldn't feel the joy. In my mind, I could see him pumping his fist, giving high fives, big smile on his face, his feeling of victory. But in my eyes, I could only see blurry, watery images. By the third inning, I tried to eat a hot dog, but it stuck in my throat, and the taste was not as good as I remembered. I clutched his cardinal sweatshirt tightly throughout the evening, searching for his scent, his warmth. The baseball game was being played, but it wasn't making any sense to me, and no one could answer my questions. No one could tell me why he wasn't there sitting beside me. 4, golf, Ron's passion. And how lucky was I that he easily shared with everyone how he loved to play the game with me. He would take delight every time I hit a good shot. He would be encouraging when I missed. He would remember every hole and every shot, and on the ride home, he would review all our best shots. He watched my game improving from its very rough start of 130 strokes in 18 holes to averaging in the high 80s or low 90s. He was very proud of me and let me know it. What better way to enjoy a beautiful weather day than for us to be out together on the golf course? When you hear someone shout, 4, you need to be ready to duck. Protect yourself from an unexpected ball that might be on its way to hit you. But I didn't hear that word on June 27, 2014, when Ron said he felt dizzy and lightheaded. The first time I played golf again after that was in October of that year, when a friend's husband was kind enough to invite me to join him on the links. I warned him it could be difficult for me to go without Ron. First I said no, but then I decided to get myself out there. After all, I really enjoyed the game. I shouldn't give it up. So I went. It was a beautiful day. I carried my equipment and placed it on the cart. He always did that for me. One tear. I teed up the ball for my first shot, took a deep breath, paused because the ball was changing shape and dripping. I stepped away because if you know you're not ready to hit, that's what you do. After wiping my eyes on my sleeve, I approached the ball again. I gathered my courage, fought back more tears, did a slow backswing, kept my head down, and followed through. It was a good shot. Right in the middle of the fairway. I could hear him. Great shot. I had no doubt you could do it. Sometimes we feel burdened by all of the things we have to do on our own, where we once had a partner to help us. My last 2 pieces reflect that feeling. He would have done that. I just picked up my medicine at the pharmacy. Not only would he have picked it up, but he would have made the call for the refills. Tonight it's time to take out the trash. I didn't even used to have to think about it. He would have done that. I need to go check bank statements and pay bills. Before, I never even gave any of that a thought. He would have done that. And now I'm putting all of my thoughts in writing because he isn't here to listen to how I spent my day. He would have done that. In this final piece, there is hope. We may struggle to recognize our own strength and ability, but in time, we do grow. The car. The warning light came on in my car. Low tire pressure. Needs air. I don't like to deal with car problems. Ron, where are you? I would have just come home and told you about the light and the warning, and you would have taken care of it. It would have been off my plate. No one was home. It's just me now. Time for me to be the man of the family. I took my car to get air in the tire. No big deal. But air wasn't the problem. There was a huge nail in the tire. The Nissan dealer told me secretly, since they could not repair it, take it to Dobbs. If they can, they will plug it for you. We can't do that. So I took it to Dobbs. Guess what? They couldn't fix it either. Cha-ching! I just bought a new tire. Did I pay a fair price? Should I have shopped around for the best deal? Maybe. But my inner guide said, just get it done and be safe and don't worry about it. What would Ron have done? Bottom line is, I did it. Thank you for letting me share my feelings with you. I hope that when you are in need, you will find your best way to release your pain and be open to having many of your own zippity-doo-dah moments.
Elaine, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I know she can't hear you, but if you want to press your raise hand button as a round of applause, standing ovation. Oh, Elaine, I know you were nervous, but you put to words things that so many of us feel. And as tough as it is, and we just want to love you, there's something that just lets us know too that we're not alone. We are not alone in feeling these feelings. I know one of our members here, her sister passed this week. So sending you love, sending all love that just need to know that grief is absolutely the most painful thing that any one of us human beings will ever suffer. I love that last bit with Moana, that her grandmother just rises up. Our loved ones, my friends, are healthy, well, alive, by our side, cheering us on. That's one of the main reasons we do our medium demonstration here. It's just to show all of us how close they are, how much their love survives, and we will see them again. They are the best version of themselves. However, those of us who are left behind, left here on earth, suffer greatly. If you have not yet taken me up on this offer, please remember my book is yours to have. Chapter 10 is about grief. Not just do we experience all these things, but I wanted to give a voice as why it hurts so bad, why all those crazy things that happen in our mind happen, and let us all know that we actually go through a change of chemistry when we grieve. It's not easy. There are some things we can do to help lighten up, to help build up that healthy reservoir of all the neurotransmitters and things to do. So if you have not yet taken me up on that, if you've ever purchased anything on the we-don't-die.com site, you already have a copy in your library. But on the main page of we-don't-die.com, if you enter your name and your email address at the bottom, it says you'll get the first few chapters. It's the whole book. It's the secret of that, because I do think that chapter 10 is most important. So our love on behalf of Elaine Shirley Ann and myself to all those experiencing grief right now. It's awful. But what I can tell you is it shows you who you really are, how strong you are. And someday, if it hasn't happened already, someone will need to hear some words from you because you've been there before. So you will be a blessing for someone else. So again, Elaine, thank you. So with that, we are going to go into our demonstration of mediumship. We have our beautiful friend, Shirley Ann, awake bright and early from New Zealand with us. And I'll tell you a bit about how this goes. I know some of you have been with us before. If this is your first time here, pay close attention. The spirit world is behind our Sunday gathering, I think, giving us the ideas, giving us the thoughts. They all seem to always blend in together. So it's pretty amazing that I think they're behind the scenes giving us some ideas. But they actually come to Shirley Ann. As much as we put in our requests for our loved one to come in. They have it all orchestrated already. So we'll get a handful usually. It could be 3 or 4, depending on the time, loved ones that come through. But they're here for all of us. They're here on behalf of their world to let us all know that all of our loved ones are around. Of course, they're continuing their journey in the unseen world. They're learning, they're sharing, they're growing, they're experimenting, whatever they want to do, they can, but they can multitask and be right here with us. We will know someday just how amazing that world is, but in time, in time, I know for myself, I've interviewed now and created over 550 podcast episodes about the afterlife. I don't need anybody to tell me it's real. I know it is, and I know we go on. So, what you'll witness is Shirley Ann speaking, and she will come out with a few initial bits of information about the person that has connected with her. They work through her thoughts, her feelings, her memories, maybe smells and tastes, who knows, to get the information through. She'll give a few initial bits of information. If you recognize that person as your person, we want you to press your raise hand button. Now, I know I just asked you to press your raise hand button, but if you need a little more practice, go ahead and press it again. We do ask that you accept all the information that Shirley Ann shares, because we often have between 150 and 200 people in our Sunday gatherings. Make sure it fits you. All the information fits your loved one. Now, when I say your loved one, it could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be somebody a little bit distant, but that was kind of in your circle. So listen in and don't ever feel worried, that, oh, it's going to be for somebody else. If you feel like this is for you, go ahead and press your raise hand button. Sometimes there are 2 or more people that can take all the information. So Shirley Ann will sort that out with myself and ideally get down to 1 person. I do ask that everybody listening, even though you may not be the one talking to Shirley Ann, pay attention to just how close the people are, some of their bits of evidence letting us know that they're seeing us in our lives. And yeah, sometimes there's some really good words that it's like, oh, I think I could use that information myself. So take it. If you do work with Shirley Ann today, we ask you to limit your responses to yes, no, and I don't know. I know it's easy to get excited and we want to share about our loved one, but we want everyone to know that it is your loved one working with Shirley Ann and that you didn't volunteer all this information. We want no doubt that she really is working with the spirit world. Shirley Ann has been a medium for a long time, and God bless her and the other mediums that volunteer to be on our Sunday gathering. If you don't know what it's like to work as a medium, you have to trust that these feelings and thoughts and images that come into your mind are coming from the spirit world, that you're not crazy, that you're doing this on behalf of someone here and somebody here can understand the information. So there's always nerves involved, but our mediums push aside those nerves and say, I'm going forward anyway. Don't feel bad if you have to give Shirley Ann a no. It simply means it's a new opportunity to ask the spirit person for some more information. What we like to do before every medium demonstration is play a little bit of feel-good music. So again, I have a little montage today. We're going to start off with Elaine's favorite song, Zippity Doo Dah, and then we're going to go into Try Everything, that song from the movie Zootopia that I was telling you about earlier. So let me get that going. It'll just be a few minutes, and then we will be back with our friend Shirley Ann. We love to try everything. And now we're going to try a little Shirley Ann. Hello, Shirley Ann.
Hello, everyone. And aren't we so lucky to have the gift of Disney in our lives? It's touched everybody. I bet you would struggle to find one person that at some point in their life it hasn't touched. And thank you, Elaine. I thoroughly enjoyed that address. Yeah, as I move my mind to the spirit world, I actually feel like I do have a gentleman here, and I do feel as though it would be your husband. I do feel as though the recipient I'm looking for, though, would have suffered quite a serious illness when this gentleman was here, and the recipient, the sitter, the person I'm looking for, would have spent quite a bit of time in hospital during this illness. Can we put that out there, please, Sandra?
Yes. So it's the person with us today that had the illness, not the person in
Correct.
the. Okay. All right. All right. So hands went down. So yes, person with us today that had a tremendous illness, spent time in the hospital, and your husband has passed. No hands up, Shirley Ann. Oh, maybe Lisa has her hand raised. Lisa, are you there?
Hi, hi, Sandra. Hi, Shirley. How are you?
Oh, I'm well, Lisa. Lisa, you would understand that you would have spent quite a bit of time in hospital,
Yes,
and your husband would have taken care of you.
yes,
Because I do feel this gentleman was at your bedside a lot.
yes,
And I know with this gentleman, he brings me memories. Gosh, he's such a lovely person. He brings me memories of even when you came home and you were recuperating, he was there 24/7.
yes,
And he's also making me aware that you had to go back to hospital. So there was several visits and several times you come home where he was there for the recuperation.
yes. And I just got back from there.
And I know with this gentleman in the spirit world, he's making me aware. Do you know, I really feel this gentleman's really good at deflecting. He doesn't want to talk about himself. You would understand that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. But this is a very, very, very strong man. And I know during this time, basically, he let the whole world around, except for the two of you together, fall apart, fall apart. You were his main objective, his main vision through your illness.
yes.
And Lisa, I also feel as though you would actually still have his watch.
I'm wearing it.
Okay. You know, and I want to say to you, I feel as though he's just wiping a tear from your eye at the moment as you look down at that watch. You'd recognize that watch stopped, though, at one point,
Yes,
and you had to go and get it repaired, or you wanted to go and get it repaired.
I wanted to.
Yes. But there's a feeling here that you didn't want to touch it because it was, you know, it was his watch. He was the last person apart from you that had touched this watch.
Yes,
And Lisa is also making me aware that you used to make the bed a certain way.
I'll say again.
He's making me aware here that you used to make the bed a certain way.
Yes. Oh, boy, yes.
Okay, he's just bringing that in because I feel as though he's having a little bit of a chuckle about that. And also, too, he's making me aware that you would have had bedside tables, that you would have had little drawers at either side of the bed.
Yes.
And in your drawer, there was often little goodies tucked in there.
Oh, boy, yes.
He's just bringing back those memories of opening the drawer and being shocked with the amount of goodies that was in there. You were prepared for there's chocolate and there's candy and there's all sorts of things in this drawer.
Yes, he wants me to stop. I got a big bag last night.
Okay. He's also making me aware too that you have I feel as though you have some jewelry of your mother's.
Yes,
And he's making me aware that you used to bring it out and have a look at it and put it all on, but some of it's just way too expensive, shall I say, valuable to be wearing out and about.
yes,
But it's almost like he's making where he used to sit and watch you almost do this dress up.
yes, all the time.
So he's really, really chuckling about this and bringing so many, many, many memories in there. Okay, Lisa, down to tin tacks. I feel as though there has been thoughts with you that you would much rather be with him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He's bringing that in very strongly here with you and around me, and I'll give it to you straight. What I'm feeling is he'll give you a kick up the backside.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All
So
over the house.
it's a bit of straight talking from your husband. So I want you to get a bit of zippity doo dah in there is what you're needing. And put that chin up and open those windows, and just know when you leave the house, he's got your hand. He used to hold your hand in public when you were out walking, and he's still got that.
Yes, thank you so much.
Lisa, you know, so much love for you in the spirit world, girl, but your experiences here are they're just so valuable.
Yes.
Now, I also feel as though this gentleman is making me aware of certain advice that you're receiving at the moment about your health from your doctors. And I'm not saying you're ignoring it, but you've been a little bit flippant about that advice.
Yes.
Okay, well, you know what he would say to you.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do.
All righty. So I want you to take a little bit of him in there, and because he was also the man that always, I feel like he spoke the sense. Anything he said, you'd go, oh, that makes so much sense. He was your grounding piece of glue, shall I say.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
He
So
still is.
yeah, he's still very much with you, Lisa, and I just want to share his love with you, and I want a little bit of it. It's so massive for you, and so much still alive, and so much with you.
Yes, he was amazing. Still is.
Okay, lovey. Well, heed his advice, please.
I definitely will.
All my love to you, Lisa.
Thank you, Shirley Ann, so much.
No problem.
Thank you, Shirley Ann. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Now, Sandra, I feel as though I have an awareness here of a lady, a rather beautiful lady, and I feel as though she would have passed in an accident. And actually, I feel as though she's somebody's here's wife. So, can I throw that out, please?
Mhm. So, lady in the spirit world passed in an accident, and she's the wife to someone with us right now.
Yes.
Okay. All right, friends, who can understand that information? Press your raise hand button, please. No hands up just yet.
Lisa does understand that, but we'll leave that at the moment. Lisa, we'll just see. Alrighty, I will drop the relationship then. I know this lady is very close to the recipient. She may not have been wife, but I know this lady has passed in an accident.
All right, Sunshine has her hand raised. Are you there, Sunshine?
Sunshine. Sunshine. Hello, sweetheart. You would recognize a lady that passed in a car accident who was very close to you.
Yes.
Okay. Sunshine, I also feel as though she would have had 2 children.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And I actually feel as though, and you know, if I'm wrong, that's fine. But I do feel as though there was a possibility that they all passed together.
No.
No. Okay. Thank you for that. Then you are aware of the 2 children here, and when she passed, they were quite young.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for that. And I do feel as though you're very aware of these children. I feel as though that you still have a lot to do with them.
No.
No, okay.
We have another hand up. I didn't want
Yeah.
to interrupt.
Can I just thank you, Sunshine.
And
Barbara,
don't cut it over.
you would understand a lady who was close to you that passed in a car accident and that would have had 2 children.
No, I'm sorry. I lowered my hand when that part came through.
Okay, Barbara. Is there anybody else there, Sandra?
There is not.
There is not. Okay. I do feel as though this lady passed in the accident and she had 2 children. So, Sunshine, you do understand that.
I do.
Okay. And Sunshine, you would understand that her children were actually at the funeral.
Yes.
Alrighty. And I do feel as though that the youngest would have been a boy.
Yes, correct.
Okay, Sunshine, thank you for hanging in there with me. And you're saying that you don't have a lot to do with the children now, but I do feel as though you hear about them from time to time.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's where I would have been mistaken. And I feel like the young man, he's actually doing very, very well for himself.
Yes.
And it's almost like I almost feel like a phoenix rising out of the ashes against all odds. This young man has made quite a bit of his life.
I think so.
Okay. Whereas I feel that the other sibling was not quite as lucky.
Somewhat.
Okay. Alrighty. But I do feel as though this lady who passed to the spirit world, that would have been family to you?
Uh, kind of.
Kind
Do you
of,
want me to explain?
but no, but very, very close to you.
Yes.
All right. As long as you can understand that. And I feel as though there would have been a point where you actually lived together.
No.
All right. If it wasn't living together, then I know that you weren't very far from each other.
Yes.
Thank you. Because you did have quite a rapport with this lady, and I can feel the banter and the discussions going back and forwards. And when you had a hard time, she was your go-to, and vice versa.
Yep.
Yes. And I also feel as though as the kids were growing up, Summer, I also feel as though you have children as well.
Yes.
Yes. And there was this bond there that like 2 young mums, I feel.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, because I know both of you went through some hardships. I feel as though within the home, within your relationships, and both of you were able to share.
We not the same thing, but yes, we shared.
Okay, thank you for that. I also feel as though, Summer, you actually think about this lady quite often, periodically.
Yes.
Yes, because I know she was a ray of sunshine, and I feel as though her passing was very quick.
Yes.
And I feel with her that there wasn't time for either of you to, because I feel when she passed, you hadn't seen each other just for a little bit, not as
Yep.
often as you had.
Exactly.
And it was, I wish I had have caught up, and you have that same feeling. I wish I had have caught up.
Yeah. Yes.
And Summer, you would be, because I feel as though there would be an ex-husband with her around.
Yes.
Alrighty. And I feel that there were times that you were not very impressed by this gentleman's behavior.
Yeah, yes.
Yes. But I feel I'm getting this impression that from your friend that you just bit your tongue. You listened and you bit your tongue.
Yes.
And I feel that gratefulness there, that sharing of two hearts, was really important for her, because at that time in her life, I feel like there was no one else for her to turn to, or only you would understand that.
Yes.
And it was like you were a step out of her inner circle, that you were a type of person that didn't judge her. You didn't give her advice. You just held that space for her.
Yes.
And you would understand that during her, because I do feel it's within her home, within her relationship, that there was periods of distress for her.
Yes. The first relationship. Yes.
Yes. And that's where I'm talking about. It was like you were there. You were the lady on the spot for her.
Yes.
Am I so correct in saying you would share clothes
I don't remember, but yeah, probably.
or go into each other's wardrobe? I feel this very much of what am I going to wear, and you'd ring each other and sort things out. Also, too, like recipes and things like that you would share.
No.
All righty. Okay. And I also feel as though you would remember times that you went out socially together,
Yes.
because you could actually be quite a wild pair.
Yes.
You definitely had some fun out there. And I feel like those are the memories that you like to think of her with, because you'd both have a couple of drinks, and it was almost dancing on the tables. You definitely went out and had a good time together.
Yes.
But it was preferably without the men.
Yep.
The gals always had the good time when they went out together, and the great discussions that came out of that. And I know what happened when you were out together stayed when you were out, can I say?
I guess so.
Yes, because I feel a couple of those little girly secrets floating around, which is just such a precious memory. Um, but I do feel her around a lot with you, just popping in to say hello and sharing her love, but particularly her gratefulness, just for holding the space for her, Sandra. Your Sunshine, you understood her.
Yes.
Because I feel like the things she was going through were not foreign to you.
Maybe, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's that understanding. So I'd like you to take your love and tuck it in your heart. She's always with you. That fun and that laughter.
Thank you so much.
And Sunshine, can I say, have you got one of the oldest child with you is a daughter?
Nope. Son.
Son. Then if I'm correct with this, because I feel like she's coming in with these lovely memories for a reason, and I feel like you've been watching your son do a little bit of getting out and about lately.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, he needs to, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, get a bit more interactive, out and about. Yeah, and it's like this gratefulness of your open mind and your open heart.
Thank you.
I will leave you with that thought.
Thank you, Sunshine. Thank you, Shirley Ann.
Thank you, Sunshine. Now, I do actually feel as though I have a gentleman here, and I feel as though he would have passed in one of the more modern conflicts. And, modern in the aspect, I even feel the sort of Iraq, uh, um, Ukraine conflict at the moment. To be honest, I'm not sure which side he's on, but I do feel like this is a gentleman that somebody here would be aware of that would have passed, and I'm going to stick with the Ukraine conflict, please.
Thank you, Shirley Ann. Who can understand this? Now, again, this might not be someone who is close in your family. It might be somebody a little bit distant, someone who passed in the Ukraine conflict.
Okay, Sandra, I may be incorrect with the Ukraine, with the Iraq conflict, but this is one of the more modern conflicts. Because I sort of feel like it's in the last 10 years, you know, so it's a more modern conflict. I'm not very up on the wars, etc., which I should make myself much more aware of. But I do actually feel this would have been, I do feel it's a family member.
Okay. Okay. All right, friends. Can someone understand that information? Doesn't have to be Iraq or Ukraine, but some modern conflict that's happened in around the last 10 years or so. A gentleman who has passed.
I feel as though he would have been serving in that conflict.
No hands are going up, Shirley Ann.
Okay, well, I will stay with him a little bit longer, Sandra. A gentleman who would have served in the army then. He would have served.
Even if he did.
He would have served, I feel, and I do feel it's a modern conflict.
Let's bring in Gear. Hello, Gear.
Hello.
Yeah. Can you understand this?
It's not early. It's like World War II.
World War
For me.
II. Alrighty. Alrighty. Can we put it out again then, Sandra, for just stay there, Gear, for any conflict going back as far as World War II? Who would have passed in that conflict?
Emily. Oh, no, hand went down. Went up, went down. Jeanette has her hand raised as well.
Okay, Jeanette, if you could just listen as well. I feel this gentleman that would have passed would have had some sort of authority, like, I don't, within the conflict, he would have had some sort of authority over a squadron or a team. He would have been like a commander of a certain amount of people.
Yes.
Yes,
Do you hear
Jeanette?
me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. Can I stay with Jeanette then, please, Sandra? Thank you, Gia. Jeanette, you would have known that this gentleman had quite a long career in the army.
Not a long career. He died in Iwo Jima. He was only 21. It was my uncle.
Okay. No more information, Lovey. I actually feel like it's an older person.
Okay, it's not me then.
Thank you,
Okay.
Sandra. Can we just put that out again, please, Sandra?
Yes, and I accidentally hit all lower hands. So if you just had your hand up just a moment ago, if you could raise it again. Okay, Gear has his hand raised and Diana has her hand raised. Colette as well.
Okay. So, can any of you understand a gentleman who would have passed? I actually feel in the conflict, in the war, and I feel like he would have commanded a group of people, a group of other infantry or other fighters.
Let me go to Diana. Can you understand that, Diana?
A little.
A little. How about you, Colette?
A little as well. He was the radio man, so I don't know if that would have been
No. And
No,
Gear,
it wasn't a radio man.
right. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
This is
Gear
a
didn't
gentleman
know.
in full gear that would have fought. He would have been in the army for a while and he would have fought hard.
Yes. He was all over the world for many years.
Okay, Gia, thank you. That's what I would have been looking for, because I felt when he was in the army, there were cold temperatures, there were hot temperatures. I feel like there were tanks. I feel like there was armed warfare. Like, this is a gentleman who was right in there, right in the thick of things.
Yes.
And you would understand, as a person, he wanted to be like that. He wasn't an observer, he was a doer.
Oh yeah.
And because I feel with this gentleman, don't bring me a problem unless I can fix it. You would understand that about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also feel as though, would you be aware that when he passed, a few of his comrades passed with him?
I wouldn't know.
Okay. Then, Gia, you would know that there's been medals awarded to this gentleman,
Many.
because I feel as though he would have been awarded a medal of extinction for heroism.
Oh yes. I'm about to order copies of his medals.
Ah, thank you, Gia. Because there's a lot of pride with this gentleman, that he stood in his truth. You would know that from the things that you've found out about him.
Yeah.
And you would know that he also fought, because you've said he fought all over the war, but you would know he also fought in ice, in snow.
Yes.
Yes. And I feel as though there would have been a situation where there actually would have been an avalanche. Can you understand that?
Oh yeah. With snow, I wouldn't know, but I have no doubt. I have seen photo of him in the snow as a soldier.
Ah, okay. Because this was a man that you would know he could think on his feet. He was a quick thinker.
Yeah.
And you would know he also directed, because I feel like he's directing helicopters, getting helicopters in and sorting things out on the ground and getting others to go forward. Can you understand the whole management he would have had in this position that he held?
He was behind enemy lines most of his time in the war.
Okay. And speaking of that too, you would know that he knew prisoners of war.
Oh yes.
Yes. And there, you would also have heard some stories. You know, there's a lot to uncover, but you have heard some stories.
Oh yes. And yeah.
Because I know there was also undercover work with this gentleman as well. Like not him, but he liaised with people.
Definitely.
Yes. Because he feels like such an integral, if that's the word, part of the section he was in. Like, I feel like he's getting important information in and important information out.
Yes, he was
Yes.
with the resistance, cooperating with the resistance in France, amongst other things.
Thank you for that, Gia. And you would know that there was a situation that he was at, because I feel like he got caught in a situation, and I actually know, Gia, that he had a gun to his head.
Oh yes, yes.
Yes.
Wow.
And he had to talk his way out of it. And in the end, he thought, okay, if this is going to happen, this is my time up. But it didn't. It was like a turn of events.
Yes.
That he got out of there, he got away, and it was like, whew, he really dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
What an exciting man. What a life he's lived.
Yeah.
And I know that you've ordered material about him, but I feel like there's more books, there's written about the whole thing. Am I correct in saying there's a set?
There's many books, many books, even movies about this troop.
Okay. And also too, I feel like I want to go into the archives of the library, like into that section that they sort of keep under lock and key. There's also information in there.
Yeah, there is a book which I'm trying to get.
Yeah, you're trying to get your hands on it.
It's
but
in London. Yeah.
I know that you're meeting a lot of brick walls trying to get information about it and from it.
Okay, I have to tell you this. I spent 17 years of my life finding him.
Okay. All right. Do you know what? I just think he's an amazing man, and there's so much to uncover from this gentleman, and I am just absolutely privileged that he's come here to visit us today. What an amazing, amazing person. We're talking about positivity. My goodness, this man had it in truckloads. He had a vision for the world, not just his section. He cared about the world. You would understand this about this gentleman.
Yeah, I get to know him through
Through the
family.
book. Now,
Through
you
family.
would also know through some of the writings that he had political contacts, like quite high up in the political arena.
No, I can't take that at the moment.
Okay, just watch out for that. All right, I may have got it incorrect in the political arena, but there's another arena I feel as though that you haven't uncovered yet.
Ah.
Very, very interesting man. But I want to leave you with this feeling of gratitude that I'm being remembered here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, just I know your journey's been long and hard, but the gratefulness from this gentleman is, wow, massive.
Thank you.
So much love to your family, also to your grandmother. I want to send love from your grandmother.
Oh, thank you.
So
He
dear,
met her in Norway during the war. And he was in Italy. He was all over in Israel. He was all over. He was an SAS soldier.
and he
As a
also
special air service.
he spent time in Russia as well.
Oh, that might be.
And that's where I was coming up with that conflict, because I couldn't work it out. I feel as though he would have been in that area as well. But I will leave you with your investigation, his love, and his memories.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you so much, Shirley Ann and Gear and our loved ones. Shirley Ann, thank you so much for donating your time and waking up so early to be with us. Crazy lady, but we appreciate it. And did you have something else, Shirley Ann? I know we'll hear from you in a second.
Oh no, I was just laughing at crazy lady.
No problem. Yes, you guys, funny with some of the things in the chat box. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, just a few announcements. I know you've heard me say this before, to come join us in one of our classes. It takes a little effort, right? It does. But here's the thing, when you get to exercise the power of your soul, and it's not difficult. It's not like lifting weights or doing squats and lunges or things, but just to learn how the power of your soul receives information. I tell you, our medium classes are just amazing. You start with working with human beings face to face and doing psychic readings and knowing how your soul perceives energy and or information, and it comes through your feelings, which you think it should come through here, but it comes through the belly, the feelings, and with that there can be just a whoosh of memories of someone else's. And so sometimes you describe something to your partner and you're feeling love for the person that's across from you in a Zoom breakout room, but you've never met them before. And then all of a sudden you're feeling, whether it's snowfall or going to Disneyland or whatever those memories are, and you voice them. And it turns out those belong to the deceased loved one. So if you're interested, come join us, please. They're really good. Our new medium level 1 class with Carrie and Phil begins the first week in September. If you're already a seasoned medium and you have a lot of practice working with your abilities, come join us. We have medium level 2 on Thursdays. There's a brand new course called Embracing the Healing Power, also open for all, that will be starting that week too on the Tuesday. And that's, this spiritual healing is very real. Healing ourselves, sending healing to others. There's going to be some guest speakers in that. It's something very powerful. Also, this coming Tuesday, our friends Kath and Mitch Shirley are back for their Grief Cafe. They do it once a month. It's a 90-minute, not recorded time. They're both advanced grief recovery specialists. So it's a good place to be in just a small group and listen and learn about grief. I don't have the registration link for that quite yet, but I should have that by the end of the day. So that'll be Tuesday at whatever time it is right now in your time zone on Tuesday. Also coming up, our class with Scott Milligan, and his events are pretty great as well. These are not medium classes that you work with someone else. This is you learning to quiet down that mind and feel the presence of the other world. We have guides, we have helpers, we have our loved ones. And this really is a journey that we spend a lot of that class with our eyes closed, just slowing down and blending in different ways with that unseen world. Also with Scott on Tuesday is something called Sitting in the Power Hour. It's a way that he guides us through, similar to a meditation, but it is to recharge our batteries. And for mediums out there, you know that this is the best way you can really hone your skills, because it's allowing those in the spirit world to lend their healing, their guidance, and their power to you. What else? Just this past week, I came up with something called a Patreon page for myself. This is if you're a longtime follower and you really are interested in the podcasts that I have put out. I have now a total of 550 episodes about the afterlife. They are all free for you in whatever podcast station you use, but I've put them together in all one list. And if you are so kind and wish to donate even $1 each upcoming episode, I have that full list for you that you can search all the past podcasts. You can click on each and every one. Also, I can't control YouTube, but I can control putting them somewhere else, and they are commercial free. So that's what I'm doing. More details for that at wedon'tdie.com. You can find that at the homepage. I know it's not for everybody, but some people are. Sandra Champlain, We Don't Die fans. And if you are, I want to reward you for that. Yes, everything coming up is at wedon'tdie.com. You can click on the store page. You can register for our next Sunday gathering. There, you can also look at the Sunday gathering page and be inspired by watching one of the past Sunday gatherings. We need, like the Disney music, things that are positive. That's why each and every Sunday gathering we make sure we feel positive afterwards, because we are just as much part of this community and a watcher as you are. And last, just a shout out to our friends who have donated to make our Sunday gathering possible. We don't pester you about donations, but we do appreciate them when they come in. So thank you for those of you who have donated. So I'm going to pass it over to Shirley Ann for some words for the week.
Hi, everybody. Now, if we could join together and just think about these words. Positivity gives us possibilities. Positivity is freedom and acceptance. Positivity gives us options, causes change, and answers questions, which all creates healing. Your inner world affects your outer world. And as we are all a spark of our Creator, the wonders and the brightness of this life is in our DNA, so to speak. Life is magical. It's a magical journey. And positivity is the battery for the light to show us the way. As A.A. Milne said, you're braver than you believe, you're stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Thank you.
If you could lead us into that closing prayer, Shirley Ann.
And as we come together, dear friends, in the last few minutes of our gathering, divine and loving Spirit, we give great thanks for this time we've spent together, the bonding around the world, the hand holding through our grief, the laughter we have shared through memories, and the great privilege we've had of our loved ones visiting us and sitting beside us. Whether that loved one be human or animal, it makes no difference to us. The beautiful memories that we hold from our loved ones that have passed have fluttered around in our hearts, brought us that positivity just a step a little bit further, helped with our own personal healing as well as healing in the spirit world. Remembering that our two worlds are so closely linked by our souls, our heart, and our love. So everybody who's attended the gathering today or who's going to watch it on recording, please take our love and our joy and our remembrance about the loved ones in the spirit world and just hold out your hand and allow them to come and join you. Amen.
Thank you so much, Shirley Ann and Elaine. You too. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen at home, wherever you are, thank you for joining us. And to our friends in the spirit world, we know you are alive and well, and we miss you, and we can't wait to see you again. With that, we're going to play our closing video. And this one to me is so funny. I have edited it down because it was an 18-minute video. You can look it up on YouTube. It's Tom Cruise and James Corden that appear live on a Broadway presentation of The Lion King. But I've included just enough that I think you'll get a giggle. It's pretty funny. Here we go. I love that. Could you ever even imagine it being Tom Cruise coming out? Well, this concludes our Sunday gathering. Do something this week and for others to show some positivity, make things happen, help people to laugh and smile and find joy again. You are all so very loved. We will see you again next week, if not sooner. Mwah! Bye, everyone.